And we are live. Yes, we're live. That time I was for some reason not coming out of loop and I couldn't actually bring myself in. But that doesn't matter. There we are. We're live, we're direct. Um Looking forward to this game. I'm looking forward to tonight as well. We've got Chelsea against Barcelona. That's going to be a very good game. Um and obviously we've got the game against Bayern Munich tomorrow for ourselves for the Arsenal. It's a good midweek. Obviously Manchester United lost last night, which made this weekend even sweeter. And what hopefully should make it sweeter is beating Bayern Munich tomorrow, which is going to be a very tough game because they're probably, off the top of my head, they're probably the best team in Europe. Let's just be real. That attack that they've got Elise, Kane, Nabry, obviously Diaz won't be able to play, but yeah, Company has them playing some proper ball. I feel like they came from like 2-0 down to lead 6-2 at the weekend. I can't remember who it was against, but I saw that result as well. But they're going to be a very tough opponent, and it's going to be hard to stop them. It's going to be very hard to stop them, and obviously we're at home. Thankfully, it's not at the Allianz Arena. However, to be fair, doesn't matter too much because these lot always give us an absolute packing every time we play them. We drew with them, I think it's 2-2 in the first leg of a quarterfinal a couple of years ago, and then we lost that in Munich. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game. But we are going to go through Arteta's press conference because we have seen that Jesus is back in full training. But Arteta did say, I'm pretty sure, that he's not going to feature in the game against Bayern Munich, which makes sense. So hopefully he might be on the bench for the game against Chelsea. Got to blow my nose quickly. Well, yeah, it's that time of year again if you're in the fucking UK, isn't it? Cold weather, dry weather, fucking colds everywhere. Even I've got one in a minute and it's fucking annoying. But nevertheless, we are going to power through. We are going to go on to Arteta's press conference. I'm not going to go through every part of it. Let me see what he actually needs to say. See if I can. Right. I can actually find the proper notes. That'll be nice. Fucking hell. Yeah, I don't want to see. I don't get why it's showing me like them all the press conferences tied together in one. I don't get why it's doing that, but okay. No, that's a Tottenham press conference. I don't know why it's showing me that. Arsenal versus Bayern Munich press conference. Oh, that's the one from 2 years ago. Why is it showing me that? Okay, cool. Here we are. We have the press conference in here now. Before I do that, let me make sure the thing was shared to make sure it was shared to Twitter, which it should have been, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it is. But yeah, we're gonna have a quick look at this. I won't be live for too long because I need to sort out me actually watching the game because I've got my ways of watching it. I need to make sure that's sorted out. So Mikel Arteta was back in front of the media for his pre-Bayern Munich press conference at the Sober Reality Training Centre, aka London Colney, on Tuesday today. Got a feeling the energy from our 4-1 win against Tottenham, and to be fair, I don't care what he says, whether it's the game, whether it's the fucking most puzzle shit ever. I'm still buzzing about that game against Tottenham because we absolutely smoked them, and you can tell why. If you haven't seen my match reaction, have a look at it because, yeah, I was on one and I had to get some stuff off my chest about Tottenham, especially. I'm feeling the energy over our 4-1 win against Tottenham. Yes, I do. And we have to make sure we carry that energy back into the stadium tomorrow to each individual and play with the same dominant aggression and efficiency against the top side. on if Martinelli and Madueke are in contention to start tomorrow. They are, and we're going to have a meeting now to decide on Martin Odegaard, he was very close for the previous game. And so we are hopeful that tomorrow he can be in the squad as well, and that's a massive boost. Look, you lot know my thoughts on Martin Odegaard. I don't rate him that highly as a player. I think he's a good player, but I don't rate him to the sort of creative spark degree as people do, because there are games that he does disappoint me in. But to be fair, before he got injured the second time, before he got injured after this part, he was actually doing all right. However, Eze's come in. We've seen what he can do, and to be fair, one thing that I will say is that I am expecting a little bit of rotation tomorrow. And the reason I'm saying that is because we got a massive game on Sunday against Chelsea. As you can see by the title, even though I had to change it again because it weren't working for some reason. This is a massive game ahead of another massive game on Sunday. I believe it's Sunday. I might be bugging again. Chelsea, Arsenal. It's not Saturday night, is it? No, yeah, it's Sunday. Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, that Sunday game is massive. And to be fair, you could say it's even bigger than this game because let's say if we were to lose this game, I'm not saying I want to lose, but if it was to happen, it's not the end of the world because we've put ourselves in such a good position when it comes to Champions League and in terms of qualifying. Losing this game doesn't matter too much. Now, I'm not saying go and lose the game because I want to win the game. I want to beat Bayern Munich. This team has given me absolute pain throughout my whole lifetime, throughout my whole childhood. I want to see a win in this game. But that Sunday game is make or break because we can either put out a crap performance to get a draw. We can either go 3 points, have Chelsea 3 points behind us, or we can go 9 points clear of Chelsea. And that depends on whatever happens in the Man City game as well. But that's something we'll have to wait and see. But we've got to focus on this game. On how Victor Gyökeres and Kai Havertz are progressing in their rehabilitation. Really good, both of them. In the next few days, they're going to have a repeat scan to see how everything is and where we can push them for the weekend. But to be fair, I think as it stands, it'll probably be Marino and Havertz. Marino up front. So Havertz and Gyökeres. On how to approach the game, we had the same intention to win it. We've had a really good preparation again, a really short one, but we've been very efficient as well. We know the importance of the match, and we are in a really strong position. We want to maintain that for sure, and we know that we have a beautiful, very demanding game ahead of us. A lot of buzzwords in there, but fair enough. On if Sunday's atmosphere was the best, or if he's looking forward to the challenge of Bayern Munich. They've been very consistent in both competitions. They've been as well, and tomorrow is a great test for us to see where we are. I don't know what that means, but sure. On if Sunday's atmosphere was the best he's experienced at the Emirates Stadium, it has to be one of the best for sure. And the atmosphere, the energy created just before the game, I think it was excellent. And it makes such a difference. The players were talking about it. I hope our supporters can realise what they bring, the joy, the confidence, the energy. I love one of Arteta's favourite words, the joy, the energy. And we have to maintain and improve that constantly, because it's a massive superpower that we have. And to be fair, one thing I'll say about that tifo, because I never got a chance to talk about it in the match reaction. That tifo was quality, and that should have been what should have happened against PSG last year in that semi-final. Because instead of having my fucking sociology teacher's bed sheets for my for the tifo, the Emirates against Paris Saint-Germain, that was more like it against Tottenham. And if you can make that atmosphere on a consistent level, do it, because that was quality, and especially in the big games as well. That felt like nice to look at as well. And even before the game, I've seen videos online how rocking the Emirates was before kickoff. But yeah, we need to do more of that, 100%. It's fucking cold, man. I swear to God. On if this is the biggest challenge of the season so far, Well, every opponent brings different challenges. They are in a great moment. The level of consistency they show in resource, performance, in every metric that they have. It's very, very impressive. We know that, but that's a massive opportunity for us to show what we are capable of. And he is right in that sense because I've always looked at this game and I've always thought, right, we beat Tottenham, albeit they're shit. We've obviously played Man City and Liverpool, and we've been poor. We've gone to the likes of St James's Park and won. We've won a shitload of games in between that. We beat Atletico Madrid 4-0. That's one that sticks out. However, we're facing a team that is, let's be real, in my opinion, they're better than us. Yes, they're playing the Bundesliga, but that attack alone, that attack can kill anyone on their day. And it'll be interesting to see how our defence will cope with that. Obviously, my Gabriel will be there. It'll be Hincapié again, who starts. But it's a massive test, and it's a massive test for the one that I'm looking forward to it because I want to see us competing with the best teams in Europe. They, in my opinion, from what I've seen, are the best team in Europe, and they even went to PSG and won with 10 men. I think it was the last match day, I believe it was. Yeah, it was. It was the last match day away at Paris Saint-Germain. I'm looking forward to the game, and I want to see us compete, and I want to see us win that game as well. Yes, not really much here. Okay, or when Gabriel Jesus can be a part of the squad. Yes, he's quite close to be fair. It's earlier than we expected. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, 1 second. Okay, cool. All right, it's earlier than what we expected in the next few days. He's going to have another step to make with a game that we're going to organise for him. So I'm assuming like a behind the closed doors friendly. And after that, he's just going to be knocking on the door because he's Gabriel, a winner. That's how it happened. And to be fair, one thing about Gabriel Jesus coming back is he gives us something a little bit. He gives us like a different profile up front because you've got Gyökeres, who's like a more out and out striker. You've got Mikel Merino and and Kai Havertz, who are like basically false nines. They drop into midfield. They make an extra man, and then you've got Jesus, who likes to float across all that front three. That's one thing. Like that's one thing about having Gabby Jesus back, whether he leaves in January or not, which he may do. Um, I think having Jesus back is going to be a boost because he won't be playing as much, so that won't have a sort of hindrance on his fit. Fucking bit my tongue. It won't have a hindrance on his fitness. However, he gives us something different, and whether you think, like, even to be fair, even playing on the left wing or right wing, he can do a job there as well. On how Nkapie performed on his debut in place of Gabriel, yeah, well, big credits for Piero because that's a massive challenge to have your Premier League debut starting against your biggest rivals in a very special day against top players up front. Wouldn't say that. Richarlison, Kudus, and who is it? Odebear, top players up front. Yeah, come on, Miguel, give it a rest, mate. To replace Gabby, it's not easy at all. He did it in a really convincing way. That's his personality. As I said before, he's a warrior. He's somebody that faces any challenge, and he certainly did that on Sunday. Yeah, fair enough. Capie did nothing wrong. Um, to be fair, weren't really tested, but you can kind of see. You can kind of see that he's got that aggression about him, like Gabriel has. He was getting to Richarlison. He was getting tight to Richarlison. The goal Richarlison scored, it wasn't his fault. It was more Zubimendi and David Raya. However, from what I've seen so far, he does look good. Well, give me a second. Let's hang on. Right, I'm back. Sorry about that, but where was I? On how beating Bayern Munich will give us the belief that we can challenge on all fronts. Yeah, we had the same question before Sunday, and great, we won it. Then we go and then you finish the game. Then they won it. It's Bayern Munich, and now we're going to do Bayern Munich, and we're going to try to beat them for sure. And then it's going to be Chelsea. This is the ruthless moment. The schedule. This is how ruthless at the moment the schedule is. It's demanding, but at the same time, how privileged you are to be involved in these three incredible games in 6 days. Exactly, because I said before the international break, we've got a massive, massive three games coming up. And these games won't define our season, but it will definitely show us where we are. We've got past North London derby convincingly. We've got a massive test against probably the best team in Europe. And we've also got a game on Sunday that's even bigger than all three. Sunday at the Bridge is the game that I was looking forward to the most, because if we can go 9 points clear of Chelsea, but obviously granted City, you've got to hopefully get whoever's playing City have to get a result against them. I'm not sure who they're playing, but we'll get onto that closer to the time. But like I said, yeah, we got to get past this game first. But that is it for the press conference. I'm not going for a bit longer because I've got to fucking lie down for a bit before this Barca game starts. But starting 11, I think he will rotate a little bit. I'm not sure who he's going to rotate. That's the thing. So I'm going to go David Raya in goal. David Raya in goal. Actually, to be fair, do I think he'll rotate? I don't know, because I could see on one hand him rotating a bit. Actually, yeah, to be fair, I think he'll go David Raya in goal. Nkapie and Saliba will stay the same. He's going to go Lewis Skelly. I know that for sure. Would he go Ben White? Yeah, Lewis Skelly, I think he'll go Ben White. He'll rotate the fullbacks. Zubi Rice, he'll go Eze just because he's on that. He's definitely on form at the minute. Because I think he's in the rest. He will rest. He won't rest Saka. He'll go Saka, Martinelli, if Martinelli's fit. I think Martinelli's fit. Was he on the bench at the weekend? Arsenal, Spurs. I don't think he was. Yeah, he was. So yeah, I think he'll go Martinelli. He'll go Martinelli, Saka, and then Mikel Merino. Hasn't really got a choice, really. So yeah, David Raya in goal, Saliba, Nkapie, Skelly, White, I believe will go. And then Zubi Rice as a Martinelli, Saka, Merino. That makes perfect sense because he can't really go for another striker. He won't start Norgard in this game. Not against Bayern Munich of all teams. But yeah, score prediction. I'm going to go 3-2 to the Arsenal. I back us to win this game. I back Bayern Munich to score as well because their attack's ruthless, man. And Harry Kane's going to get his jammy penalty from somewhere. Let's just be real. One thing you can guarantee in life: death, taxes, and Harry Kane bagging against Arsenal. Whether it's for Tottenham or Bayern Munich, because he scored for Bayern Munich against us in the Champions League before, and it was a penalty. But that's it. I'm going to end it here. Big up to everyone who has tuned in and tuned out, watched the stream, and I'm gonna go lie down for a bit because this cold is absolutely winding me up. And I'm gonna enjoy some football tonight. Chelsea versus Barca. Let's have a look at the lineups now, actually, because they're going to be out. Chelsea, Barcelona. If it comes up. Okay, yeah, cool. So what is it? This is the confirmed lineups here. Okay, cool. So it's Chelsea. You've got Sanchez in goal, Fofana, Chalobah, Cucurella, Gusto, James Caicedo, Enzo in the midfield, Esteban, Garnacho, and Pedro Neto up front. Molly in the lap. Okay. Is he on the bench? Yeah, to be fair, he's been stinking the gaff out recently, so I don't really blame him. Barcelona, on the other hand, Garcia in goal, Araujo, Kabasi, Balde, Kunde, Garcia, De Jong, and Lopez, no Pedri. That was massive news before the game. and then Ferran, Yamal, and Lewandowski up front. I think Chelsea. I want Chelsea to smoke Barca. That sounds crazy because I hate both of them, but the fuckery that they hit Barca have caused, especially to us throughout the years, just might as well give them a good hiding. But it's a hard game to call because on one hand, the way that high line of Barcelona is ridiculous, and that can definitely be got at. And to be fair, they got Esteval, they got Garnacho who likes to play direct, and they got Pedro Neto. That's probably why he's played. Do you know what? That's probably why he's played Neto at 9 because he has got the pace. Yeah, that's probably it's a bold move by Maresca. I'll give him that. But yeah, but on the other hand, Torres I don't really rate that highly, but for me, Yamal and Lewandowski, them three are ridiculous, and De Jong as well in that midfield. It's a hardcore. I think it'll be a high scoring game. I want Barca to be smoked. I'll say that, but at the same time, I think it'll be about a 3. I think it'll be like a 2-2 or a 3-3. I can genuinely see that happening, and I'm looking forward to it. And to be fair, I was way too young when these lot were actually proper rivals in the Champions League. Obviously, the famous "It's a Disgrace" by Didier Drogba. I can't really remember that, to be honest, but I know these lot have got a bit of a history between them for the wrong reasons, let's just say that. But yeah, I'm going to end it here. Remember, like, sub, and share the content around, and I'll see you lot in a bit.